don't know what the solution is to that. And I think that this goes back to why we might need more men saying stuff as stiff and as firm as what Anton said, dare I say it. Like being very clear about how things should look with relationships, because otherwise you're out here all over the place. Because if that was a guy that she was interested in and he just kissed her, I think that it would be different.
Yeah.
So
I
are
think it
you
would be
are you going to
different.
solve? Are you going to solve that?
I don't think we can. I don't think we can hold her
You
accountable.
you you
You
can't
need to know what
solve
he
human
said.
nature like that.
Didn't
Like
that happen to Justin Bieber?
Well, here's what I'll say. I listened to one of Dr. Umar's interviews the other day, and he said in her song, she mentioned that like the only man that she would, I don't know if it's like the only man she would hook up with, or she would hook up with a guy like Dr. Umar because of all these different things. So he said if she were willing to get on his program, and if she were willing to give up all of her ways, then they could figure something out. Not necessarily intimately, but this is what he said.
Do you believe him? He wants to get on the news. Do you really believe that the man?
Listen, all I'm saying is, you said, how can we fix this? My point is I basically think that any woman like that, the only way that could be saved, if at all possible, is through a man taking on ownership and leadership over her.
Nobody's trying to save her. She's from the.
No,
streets.
that's not. But that's an extreme. That's my point.
How
I don't know that there's any. If you're to that point, I don't know that there's any saving you per se. But if you were going to be saved, I think that it would come from a man not coming at her how
in a sexual way.
The dude that was talking to her
ain't funny to save her
from a man.
Anton like saving.
No, he's not.
You know what they're looking for? I'm gonna tell you what they're
There you
looking
go.
for. They're trying to make her Jenny from Forrest Gump.
Who?
Jenny.
I never seen
Yeah.
that.
They were trying to make her Jenny from Forrest Gump. And so what happened was Jenny went out there and she lived a hippie life and she had sex and she did everything that she wanted to do. And then eventually, Forrest had to pick up the pieces at the end of her journey, and that was the end of it. And so, but the reality is that ain't nobody coming to save her, man. Nobody is ever going to come save her. Nobody is ever going. It's always going to be another simp that pick up the pieces temporarily. Mm-hmm. But her nature is just to continue to jump from man to man, whatever the reason is, whether, that's the way she was born or, she was assaulted as a kid and now she used the trauma and continued to profit off of it or whatever, so on and so forth. The nature of most of these women that are out here being super duper promiscuous like that and nasty and wild is that they are just that. They are for the streets. They should not be married. They should never ever find themselves in a situation where a man go and give her his last name. It should not happen. It just shouldn't happen. It shouldn't be a thing. It should not play out. You gotta just identify them from what they are and leave them as that. I don't understand why it's so difficult for guys to do that.
So it has me thinking, because I didn't know what Fatty said, she said all that. So I'm really thinking that did she really, sorry, Jasmine, did she really, I'm gonna read her tweets, right? Hold on 1 second. This is what she tweeted afterwards. I'm hurt and I'm scared to stand up for myself. Another one, I drink to hide that I'm very sensitive. I feel things more than the average person. I stopped drinking yesterday, but today I've been crying all day. I ask God to strengthen me and use me to help others and to order my steps in his world. I just want to go away for a while. Listen, I'm tired of these 304s going to God like Black China and then in the strip club the next day. But now I'm really thinking that if she said all this prior, right, would she have wrote these tweets if people didn't make a big deal about it? If Amber Rose didn't say it was essay, if this other lady didn't make it an essay, now looking at it.
Well, no, she's playing it right. She's playing it perffly, Q.
She is, because she's getting the attention. But
she's gonna come up after this.
A little, but I'm thinking I don't think so. I mean, they're gonna hire her as a video vixen. That's what her work
Half
is.
of y'all didn't even know who she was.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know who she was either. But it's a good PR stunt, go to God and say, I'm gonna take time away. Next week they're gonna be popping bottles and popping coochie. But honestly, I don't think she would have tweeted all this if she didn't see that, oh, she's getting all the highlights. Oh, she's becoming more popular in the social media. People are saying it's SA and saying her name, and let me go ahead with whatever the crowd is saying. Because honestly, thinking of what Fatty just said, she said, oh, you kind of opened
I was coaching her. I would have told her to play it exactly like that. Whoever is in her corner, they played it like beautifully.
For PR.
And she was posting sexual pictures 4 days afterwards. Like, people are going to remember. Like, yeah, absolutely. That's the thing, right? Because we were talking about that the other day, and they say, oh, if it was Chris Brown, she would like it. Actually, it's the opposite. Like, somebody said, if it was Chris Brown, she will throw herself to the ground, cry, oh my God, and get the $1,000 million, get all the money she can, and go her way. It's just a plot. Like, she doesn't care. Like, this guy probably going to. Actually, this guy, I will guarantee you, in the next year, if they meet each other somewhere, they are going to fuck each other. I'll guarantee you. Like, she's not. It's just the fact that he put her on an uncomfortable position in front of the cameras, and he grabbed her face. If he didn't grab her face, everybody could give the benefit of the doubt, because she was giving him choosing signals. If a woman says, I'm going to eat your ass, I think she wants to sleep with me. Right? Is that fair to say?
That's a wild statement to make.
Bare minimum, she's gonna kiss me.
But I don't think he touched her. He definitely.
That's what she said to him.
I will turn you out to like it. She would turn.
Yeah. Even no matter how what she said prior to, she clearly, like, you just don't do that, bro.
Yeah, you don't do that. That's dumb.
You don't do that, but people don't want to be held accountable for their actions either nowadays. Because, like, it's like what Q said. It's like, in no manner should that dude have done that. But when you act that way, the streets will hold you accountable. We might not be in charge of holding people accountable. I don't want to be in charge of putting her up on, judgment zone. But she will get held accountable by the way she gets treated by society. And she's going to have to deal with that. And people will sit there and go, like, this is one thing I don't agree with. Like, a good example is, even if a woman is walking down the street naked, you should leave her alone. Yes, that's morally correct. But don't sit there and act like something should not happen, because something will happen, because that's how human nature works. So we can try and separate all this stuff and, oh, you shouldn't do that, but shouldn't doing it and people who don't give a shit and are going to do it anyways are going to happen. And so people need to sit there and go, do I really want to walk down the street naked and expect not to be held accountable? Or like sit there, or like, I don't know, if you're a stripper, like, you're going to get treated like a stripper to some people.